Yo, what up, everyone? Welcome back to my YouTube, Twitch, and Facebook channels. I was about to say gaming channels, but according to the title that I put on there, we are not going to be doing gaming. This is on Twitch, just talking category for YouTube and Facebook. Well, I don't know what shows up on Facebook, but this is not a gaming live stream. This is going to be like a vlog podcast, talk show, just talking kind of thing. So, like I was uh, mentioning or hinting at during all my live streams, today is my first day in college. First class today, like it says in the title, is Art History. That's what the abbreviation stands for. Art History 300, which is history of art, basically. Art appreciation, I guess that's the title. I'll show you guys in a little bit. But anyways, basically, uh, I'm gonna be making this. Incorporating this into my live streams, and if you guys don't catch it live, it'll be on YouTube under its own playlist. Something to do with college. I'll come up with a title later on, but it's gonna be in the playlist. Obviously, anything to do with like education or podcast, vlogs, stuff section like that. Anyways, let me actually. All right, Inception. I'm gonna allow you guys to see. Um, yeah, I was just looking for what kind of category I should put it in as. Like I kind of showed you guys while I was live streaming every now and then. When I was playing video games, basically, I'm using a restream to stream everything live on Facebook, both personal, my Facebook gaming channel, YouTube, and Twitch. So I have to like basically put it in a certain category. This is like major inception. I apologize, you guys. First day of college, Art History 300. That's what I named it. I guess through Restream. The only choice that I was able to choose was podcast and talk show, but it's all within reason, right? All right, so goddamn. Let me log in again so I can show you guys. So these are my college courses for the fall. Here, let me see. Art appreciation. So, unfortunately, let me close this down. So, unfortunately, uh, this online class, I'm in the waiting list. I'm second in waiting list, so I'm like most likely gonna be accepted into the class. I know what kind of books and textbooks that I need for this online class, and I know how much time I was supposed to start at like at 9:30 or 10:50, so that's about an hour and 20 minutes. So I'm gonna just use that and put in about an hour and 20 minutes, maybe more, or I would say about an hour into the textbook that I already have it up over here, but that's what we're gonna be doing today. And then I'm gonna be doing like Q&A type stuff. You guys could I'm on Discord. You guys could join me. I'm in Discord lobby if you guys wanna what's it called, troll me while doing this live stream. You guys want to join and discuss shit, random shit. I really don't care. Just gonna ask you guys to let me kind of pay attention, because I do want to pass these courses. I'm not just doing this for entertainment education purposes. I'm actually trying to get a associate's degree in computer science and then transfer over to CSU to get a computer engineering bachelor's degree. So yeah, I'm gonna do this as much as I can if the time allows it. But I'll be again posting stuff on my YouTube. You guys could search here. Let me actually go to YouTube. My YouTube channel. Brian Bracamontes. You guys will look for either my first name or like it says on my t-shirt, Telco760. You'll find me on Twitch, Instagram, yada yada. Um, Twitch, Instagram, and Facebook gaming channel. Other than that, just use my first and last name. You'll be able to find me. Anyways, let's get to the lessons. Because I am, they do like the education online through something called Canvas, and that unfortunately I'm not able to access unless my teacher or professor, sorry, um, gives me access to it or sends it. So I'm just waiting on that, and I'm only second in line, so pretty close. Meanwhile, I need to do my due diligence and keep up with the coursework. The only coursework that I'm able to even get started with, knowing that the textbook associated with this class, we're gonna just be going through an hour into this e-textbook, whatever, because everything's online. Technology, you gotta love it. And the great thing about this, you guys, is you can listen to it, so you could hear the book instead of reading it. So I'm just gonna be listening to it. All right. So table content. Yeah, it gives you like, this is awesome. It gives you like hints and stuff. Not hints, but tips on like how to use it and stuff. Here's the table of contents, the welcome, copyright, all that stupid shit. Um, all this. Hopefully, I don't get copyrighted by doing this. I'm just. It's not. It's not. I don't know if I just hope I don't get copyrighted by doing this online. But I just want you guys to be part of my journey to um,
My
oh,
journey to
echo. Let me put the volume down on my tablet. I thought I put the volume all the way down, and instead I put it all the way up. Anyways, get let's get through the first lesson. So, Group 1, a Visual World of Understanding. I will press play. I also have my breakfast right here, some breakfast burritos. So, if you guys hear some ASMR, I apologize. And one more thing, let me get this up on my TV, on my channel on YouTube, so I could see the YouTube comments if there is any. Again, if you guys want to join me, chat with me, conversate, whatever, doesn't even have to do with this. I can multitask up to a point, right? So you guys can join me and on Discord. All right, all the links to all my channels, including my Discord link, is in the about section on whichever you guys are viewing this on. Oh yeah, also hit me up, DM me either through Instagram, Discord, or my email address that you see up here. Thank God. You guys can email me at this email address. Just in the subject line, put BB's custom merch. I make custom merch. I can make stuff like the shirt I'm wearing right now. Different colors, different sizes. It's all unisex. It could be shirts, tank tops, sweaters, hoodies. It could even be like designs on plates, mugs, you name it, caps or hats, whatever you guys wanna uh, choose. But yeah, just let me know in the email or when you DM me, or even join my Discord and we talk about it. You could text or DM me directly through there on what kind of merch you guys want. Other than that, there is an online merch store, the Stream Elements online store. So if you click on merch on the links on the about section of the channels to Stream Elements store, and then I have my Oshi collection and my logo sponsorship kind of collection you guys can choose from. Other than that, yeah, DM me for custom crap, and then get the ball rolling. Sell you guys some cool shirts. It does not have to do with any of my channels. It could be whatever you want, within reason, within copyright laws and stuff. But yeah, I can have that made for you. Anyways, let's get to what we came here for, right? Audiobook. Let's press play.
Group 1, The Visual World, Understanding the Art You See. Look at the work of art below. What is its purpose? What does it mean? Does it even look like art? How do the formal qualities of the work, such as its color, its organization, its size and scale, affect my reaction? What do I value in films were played on a loop for 5 hours until 10 p.m. in different combinations across 8 different external walls of the Museum of Modern Art? Each film chronicled the nocturnal journeys of 5 inhabitants of the city from the time they awaken in the evening until dawn the next day. The iconic actors, Donald Sutherland and Tilda Swinton, as respectively a businessman and office worker, the less familiar but still recognizable musicians.
My bad, you guys. I'm just tired of this. On Discord, I'm also, because I upgraded my RAM on my computer to 32 gigs, I'm wondering if I could also live stream it. I'm going to share my screen. And live stream it to my Discord. So if anyone wants to see it through Discord, they can. So now there's another way you guys can view what I'm doing. I'm not sure if you guys can hear me, but hopefully you guys can. Anyways, let's continue. Where did I leave off? I might, on my own time, replay this over and over and over, because, like, obviously, multitasking and stuff. Like, you might...
Chan Marshall, a.k.a. Cat Power. And
you might not be able to remember this or recall any of the stuff. You guys know how school could be. So, good thing there's an audiobook, and it's online, so you can always go back, even on your phone, your tablet, your PC, and yeah, just replay it or reread it your guys' selves until you guys start getting more of that knowledge stuck in there. Let's see. Okay, it said on Twitch for a second on my tablet that the stream stopped, so I panicked for a little bit.
Sue George as a postal worker and an electrician, and a busker discovered in the subway by the work's creator Doug Aitken, named Ryan Donahue, who plays a bicycle messenger. Aitken called the work Sleepwalkers. In a very real sense, he turned the museum inside out, opening his art to the surrounding streets at a time of day that the museum itself is normally closed.
Excuse me?
As each of Aitken's characters simultaneously awaken, greet the coming evening, their day, and move into the city's streets, the businessman into his car, the office worker into a taxi, the postal clerk onto a bus, the electrician into the subway, and the messenger onto his bike, a sense of isolation, loneliness, and introspection pervades, even as their movements reveal an almost uncanny commonality. The pace of Aitken's films slowly crescendos as his characters start their workday until finally, walking down the street, the businessman is hit by a car and then jumps on its hood to dance a jig. The office worker imagines herself a violinist in the New York Symphony Orchestra. The postal clerk suddenly begins a tight spin as she sorts the mail. The electrician makes a lariat out of a cable and whirls it above his head, and the bike messenger drums frantically on a bucket in the subway. As the films thus move from a state of virtual somnambulism to a fever pitch of motion, they come to parallel the city's disparate but fused systems of energy, as curator Peter Ellie puts it in his catalog essay for the MoMA exhibition. Ellie continues, "We, like each of Aitken's characters, dream into being a wishful imaginary architecture to connect us, built with a modest hope that others elsewhere are doing the same thing or thinking the same thoughts as we are. We harbor the secret suspicion, the aching desire that in his hidden choreography, someone else, right now, is picking at a sticker on the window of a cab, getting out of bed, listening to the same song, watching the same movie, and most importantly, sharing that same hope about us." It is worth suggesting as we begin this book that this modest hope is what all works of art aspire to create, that they aim to connect us in a hidden choreography, the secret dance of our common desires played out before us on the walls of a museum, or even out in the streets where an increasing amount of art, taking increasingly novel and surprising forms, is being made and displayed.
Okay.
Chapter 1. Discovering a World of Art. Learning Objectives. 1.1. Differentiate between passive and active seeing. 1.2. Define the creative process and describe the roles that artists most often assume when they engage in that process. 1.3. Discuss the different ways in which people value or do not value works of art. Is gunpowder a proper artistic medium? New York-based Chinese-born Tsai Guo-Chang thinks so, and showed off his powers of intervention at the opening of the 2008 Olympic Games in Beijing. Born in 1957, Tsai had left China in 1986 to study in Japan, where he began to explore the properties of gunpowder as a tool for making drawings that developed eventually into large-scale explosive events. Kai was interested in gunpowder as a medium because it seemed to him to have both destructive and constructive properties. It was, after all, a quintessential Chinese medium, used to make fireworks, the display of which, as every American has experienced on the 4th of July, can be stunningly beautiful. Fireworks are set off in celebration of almost every important social event in China, including weddings and funerals, the birth of a child, taking possession of a new home, the election of Communist Party officials, and even after one of those officials delivers a speech. Kai had staged one of the most dramatic of his explosive events in 1993, when, with a band of volunteers, both Japanese and Chinese, he returned to China to lay 10 kilometers, about 6 miles, of fuse and gunpowder clusters, one every 3 meters, 10 feet, in the Gobi Desert, beginning at the place where the Great Wall ends, near Dunhuang, the traditional end of the great trade route that had linked China to the Mediterranean since the times of the Roman emperors. At twilight, Tsai detonated an explosion that slithered in a red line on the horizon to form an ephemeral extension of the Great Wall. He titled the piece Project to Extend the Great Wall of China by 10,000 meters, Project for Extraterrestrials Number 10, understanding full well that it was best viewed from high above the earth. But the event was awe-inspiring from the ground as well. One could only imagine what it might have looked like from on high. Where the Great Wall had originally been built to separate people, Tsai's extension brought them together. Where gunpowder was originally a force for destruction, now it was a thing of beauty. These were the same goals that Tsai wished to achieve in his pyrotechnic display at the 29th Olympiad. On August 8, 2008, the 8th day of the 8th month of the 8th year of the 21st century, the 29th Olympic Games opened in Beijing, China. The time was 8:08 and 8 seconds p.m. 8 is considered a lucky number in Chinese culture because it sounds like the word for wealth and prosperity. Tsai had been chosen by the Chinese government 2 years earlier to serve as director of visual and special effects for the opening and closing ceremonies of the Games. Kai's opening gambit was a trail of 29 firework footprints of history, representing each of the 29 Olympiads, and fired in succession for 63 seconds across the 9 miles of sky between Tiananmen Square in the center of the city and the Bird's Nest, the Olympic Stadium, designed by the Swiss firm of Herzog and de Meuron. Itself a marvel, the stadium consists of a red concrete bowl seating some 91,000 people, surrounded by an outer steel frame that structurally resembles the twigs of a bird's nest. But Footprints of History met with almost immediate controversy. Although the pyrotechnic display actually occurred as Tsai planned, it was not broadcast live. Television viewers saw instead a 55-second digital film created from dress rehearsal footage of the footprint fireworks exploding and sequenced using computer graphics. Given the climatic conditions in Beijing, where smog often reduces visibility to a few hundred feet, Tsai believed the video was necessary. In fact, he considered the video a second work of art. From my own perspective as an artist, Tsai explained in 2008, there are 2 separate realms in which this artwork exists, as 2 very different mediums have been utilized. First, there is the artwork that exists in the material realm, the ephemeral sculpture. This was viewed by people attending the ceremonies inside the stadium and standing outside on the streets of Beijing. Second, there is a creative digital rendering of the artwork in the medium of video. It is a single version of the event viewed by a large broadcast audience. And perhaps to also take footprints of history into this second realm was necessary because in many of my explosion events, such as Project to extend the Great Wall of China by 10,000 meters, the very best vantage point is not the human one. Tsai has posted 5 videos made by audience members of the ephemeral event on his website, www.saigochang.com, under Projects for 2008. A short 1-minute 7-second video of the project to extend the Great Wall of China by 10,000 meters is available for viewing on the same site under Projects for 1993. To some people, Tsai's televised video seemed a form of subterfuge. Others wondered whether fireworks even qualified as art. Many people, however, found Tsai's work simply magical, a contemporary expression of the most ancient of Chinese traditions. The world.
Let's see where we're at. Group 1. So we did visual world understanding the art you see, the visual world understanding the art you see. Okay. All part of the same thing. Okay. Discovering world of art. Intro. The world of art as we perceive it. And are these check marks or are these? No, these are arrows. Okay. So we're on this one right here. World of art as we perceive it. 1.1. Process of seeing. Active seeing. Two. So is this like chapter 2? I'm wondering. See, I don't. That's what kind of sucks about not being able to access Canvas online, where you guys get basically the assignments and all the coursework and stuff. That is specifically for you guys' class. Unless I get access to that, I don't know how the professor is scheduling. And yeah, giving out education. Like, how are they doing the class? You don't know until you actually get access to their syllabus or their coursework. Everything on Canvas, basically. So, I'm just guessing right now that because the audiobook is like a necessary thing for the class, then might as well read or listen through the book, right? Notebooks, study. What is this? Create a new custom flashcard deck. Discovering world of art. Excuse me. Learned 0 started. What is this? Oh, these are like key terms. Oh, that's cool. That's cool. Let's learn some words. Key terms. Aesthetic. We already know what that is. Well, most of us. I'll just read it. Our sense of what is beautiful. Anamorphic, referring to a drawing that presents a distorted image which appears in natural form when viewed at a raking angle. Animism, belief in the existence of souls and the convention that non-human things can also be endowed with a soul. Avant-garde, from the French advance garde or vanguard, those whose innovations are in advance of their time. Odalisque, a female slave or concubine in a Turkish harem. Triptych, an artwork made of 3 panels which may be hinged together so that the side segments or wings fold over the central area. Don't know how to trumpet loil trumpet loil, or I don't know, a manner of 2-dimensional representation in which the appearance of natural space and objects is recreated with the intention of fooling the eye of the viewer. who may be convinced that the subject actually exists in three-dimensional space. Alright. What is this? Practice, view all. Pick the items you would like to review. What is this? The belief in the existence of souls and conviction that non-human things can also be... Oh, it's like a vocab test. And I have to type it out. Yeah, let's not do this. Let's not do this. I did not remember what I just read. Anamorphic, right? No. Animism. Yep, animism. Yep. Alright. So I'll have to know how to spell it out perfectly. When I get to this word, it's gonna be impossible to get it correct. But whatever. Display settings. Color mode. Dark mode. Hell yeah. Oh, that is gonna be so great on my eyes, and probably your guys' eyes too. Except the lighting on my face would be a lot worse, right? But it's good enough. Default Times New Roman. Yeah, I'll just keep it default. I don't know. You guys let me know if you guys want to see a different, like, see everything in a different font. Character case. Everything no, everything. Line spacing 2. Whoa. Wow. Visibility. Show highlights. Study. Yep, this is definitely better on my eyesight. Less blue light emitted. Alright, so the book that we're reading or listening to is Pearson E-Text for A World of Art, 8th edition by Henry Sayre. So if you guys for some reason want to read about art history, this is like one of the college courses in college that you have to take for like general education purposes, or even if like your specific major pathway or career pathway, no, degree pathway, if it has let's see, art art 3 ARTH ARTH Art History 300. This is the book that they're currently using for the college I'm attending. Anyways, let's see if we could go back to alright, so the next one is here. The world as we perceive it. Right? What is the difference between passive and active seeing? And let's press play. Well, actually, hold on one second. Yeah, I'm gonna get another soda. This is kind of fun. In a way, it's like I'm not alone. I'm not doing this by myself. Because I have you guys, right? You guys are, if you guys are watching this. And if you guys actually, like pop in on Discord or whatever. And if not, that's okay. It's gonna be on my YouTube. It's also a good history lesson. So like when I'm older, I'll be able to look at my own YouTube videos and be like, this is the shit I went through in college. Okay. After all the other BS that I went through. Alright, let's press play. Okay. I'm kind of... Oh, that's cool. Alright, what is this? Full screen. Yeah, this would be more useful. That way I don't have to open the whole thing up over here. Just press play. Alright.
As we perceive it, what is the difference between passive and active seeing? Many of us assume, almost without question, that we can trust our eyes to give us accurate information about the world. And many of the objections to Kai's Footprints of History were the direct result of his seeming violation of this trust when a 55-second digital film was broadcast instead of the real thing. Seeing, as we say, is believing. Our word idea derives, in fact, from the Greek word ideon, meaning to see, and it is no accident that when we say, I see, we often mean, I understand. The process of seeing. But the act of seeing is not a simple matter of our vision making a direct recording of reality. Seeing is both a physical and psychological process. Physically, visual processing can be divided into 3 steps: reception, to extraction, to inference. In the first step, reception, external stimuli enter the nervous system through our eyes. We see the light. Next, the retina, which is a collection of nerve cells at the back of the eye, extracts the basic information it needs and sends this information to the visual cortex, part of the brain that processes visual stimuli. There are approximately 100 million sensors in the retina, but only 5 million channels to the visual cortex. In other words, the retina does a lot of editing, and so does the visual cortex. There, special mechanisms capable of extracting specific information about such features as color, motion, orientation, and size create what is finally seen. What you see is the inference your visual cortex extracts from the information your retina sends it. Seeing, in other words, is an inherently creative process. The visual system makes conclusions about the world. It represents the world for you by editing.
Did you guys? He said makes conclusions, right? He fucked up right there. Whoever paid him to do the not the illustration, but the voice audio for the audiobook, he missed the word. He said makes instead of draws conclusions. Anyways, let's continue. Let's go back a little bit.
In other words, is an inherently creative process. The visual system makes conclusions about the world. It represents the world for you by editing out information, deciding what is important and what is not. We all know that our eyes can deceive us, and for centuries artists have taken advantage of this fact. The painter Richard
Here we go, guys. He's gonna pronounce this word. Let's see how he pronounces it. Alright. We all know that our eyes can deceive us.
Haas, for instance, is known for his trompe-l'oeil architectural murals, that is, murals designed to trick the eye. In 1989, Haas was commissioned what is important and what is not. Your retina sends it. Seeing, in other words, is an inherently creative process. The visual system makes conclusions about the world. It represents the world for you by editing out information, deciding what is important and what is not. We all know that our eyes can deceive us, and for centuries artists have taken advantage of this fact. The painter Richard Haas, for instance, is known for his trompe-l'oeil architectural murals, that is, murals designed...
Trompe-l'oeil. He said trompe-l'oeil.
The painter Richard Haas, for instance, is known for his trompe-l'oeil architectural...
Trompe-l'oeil? Trompe-l'oeil. Okay? That's how he pronounced it. I'm gonna go by that. Trompe-l'oeil. His trompe-l'oeil, which is a manner of two-dimensional representation in which the appearance of natural space in objects is recreated with the intention of fooling the eye of the viewer, who may be convinced that the subject actually exists in three-dimensional space.
The painter Richard Haas, for instance, is known for his trompe-l'oeil architectural murals, that is, murals designed to trick the eye. In 1989, Haas was commissioned by the Oregon Historical Society to paint the otherwise unappealing, even derelict, west facade of their museum and historical center. Haas...
I've been mispronouncing that shit this whole time. I thought that was facade. Even derelict, west facade. Or facade. Okay. Facade. This is how you... fucking spell facade. Alright, I've heard of it, and I've heard it being used in sentences, but I never actually seen the word spelled out. So, let's go back.
Historical Society to paint the otherwise unappealing, even derelict west facade of their museum and historical center. Haas responded with a trompe-l'oeil rendering of 4 35-foot-high sculptures of the Lewis and Clark expedition of 1804-5, set in an elaborate architectural colonnade rising 9 stories. All, of course, an illusion. But if the eye can be so easily deceived, it is equally true that it does not recall many things it sees even regularly with any measure of accuracy. Consider, for example, what sort of visual information you have stored about the American flag. You know its colors, red, white, and blue, and that it has 50 stars and 13 stripes. You know roughly its shape, rectangular. But do you know its proportions? Do you even know, without looking, what color stripe is at the flag's top, or what color is at the bottom? How many short stripes are there, and how many long ones? How many horizontal rows of stars are there? How many long rows? How many short ones? The point is that not only do we each perceive the same things differently, remembering different details, but also we do not usually see things as thoroughly or accurately as we might suppose. As the philosopher Nelson Goodman explains, the eye functions not as an instrument self-powered and alone, but as a dutiful member of a complex and capricious organism. Not only how, but what it sees is regulated by need and prejudice. It selects, rejects, organizes, discriminates, associates, classifies, analyzes, constructs. It does not so much mirror as take and make. In other words, the eye mirrors each individual's complex perceptions of the world.
Next.
Active seeing.
This shit will keep on playing. So if you guys don't keep an eye on like where he's at, you could be on one page, and if you don't click on this is to manually go to the next page or section or whatever. That, yeah, make sure you guys, if you guys are doing this, always play around with all like the little software and shit, so you guys could understand how it's used.
Everything you see is filtered through a long history of fears, prejudices, desires, emotions, customs, and beliefs. Through art, we can begin to understand those filters and learn to look more closely at the visual world. Jasper Johns' flag presents an opportunity to look closely at a familiar image. According to Johns, when he created this work, the flag was something seen but not looked at, not examined. The flag was painted at a time when the nation was obsessed with patriotism, spawned by Senator Joseph McCarthy's anti-communist hearings in 1954, by President Eisenhower's affirmation of all things American, and by the Soviet Union's challenge of American supremacy through the space race. Many of the painting's first audiences were particularly disturbed by the lumps and smears of the painting's surface and the newspaper scraps visible behind the stars and stripes. While contemporary viewers may not have experienced that Cold War era, the work still asks us to consider what the flag represents. At another level, because we already know what a flag is, Johns asks us to consider not what he represents, but how he represents it. In other words, he asks us to consider it as a painting. Faith Reingold's God Bless America has, as its historical context, the Civil Rights Movement. In it, the American flag has been turned into a prison cell. Painted at a time when white prejudice against African Americans was enforced by the legal system, the star of the flag becomes a sheriff's badge, and its red and white stripes are transformed into the black bars of the jail. The white woman portrayed in the painting is the very image of contradiction, at once a patriot, pledging allegiance to the flag, and a racist denying blacks the right to vote. She is a prisoner of her own bigotry. While the meaning of the work is open to interpretation, there is no question of its power to draw us into a closer examination of our perceptions and understandings of our world. The world as artists see it. What is the creative process, and what roles do artists most often assume when they engage in that process? Artists, of course, intend to convey their own sense of the world's meaning to us. But if the reaction to Jasper Johns' flag or Tsai Guo-Chang's Footprints of History demonstrate how people understand and value the same work of art in different ways, similarly, different artists responding to their world in different times and places might see the world in very divergent terms. As it turns out, Tsai did not choose to go to the remote oasis of Dunhuang simply because the Great Wall ended there, waiting for him to extend it with fireworks. At the terminus of the Silk Road, since the time of the Han Dynasty, Dunhuang was the place where the cultures of the East and West first intersected. Western linen, wool, glass, and gold, Persian pistachios, and mustard originating in the Mediterranean were exchanged in the city for Chinese silk, ceramics, fur, lacquered goods, and spices, all carried on the backs of Bactrian camels, animals particularly suitable for the cold, dry, and high altitudes of the deserts and steppes of Central Asia, across which the Silk Road traversed. In fact, they can go for months at a time without water. Dunhuang is also the site of the greatest collection of early Chinese art to be found anywhere. The story goes that in 366 CE, a Buddhist monk named Li Sun, traveling on the Silk Road, had a vision of 1,000 Buddhas bathed in a golden flaming light flickering across the face of a mile-long sandstone cliff near the city. He was inspired to dig a cave temple on the site. For centuries after, travelers and traders seeking safety and prosperity commissioned more caves, decorating them profusely. By the 14th century, the resulting Mogao caves, Mogao Ku in Chinese meaning peerless caves, consisted of some 800 separate spaces chiseled out of the cliff. Of these, 492 caves are decorated with murals that cover 484,000 square feet of wall space, about 40 times the expanse of the Sistine Chapel in Rome, and some 2,000 sculptures fill the grottos. Today, a World Heritage Site and an increasingly popular tourist destination, despite the fact that it is some 1,150 miles from the Chinese capital of Beijing, the Mogao Caves are a monumental testament to human creativity. The creative process. All of the innumerable artists who have worked in Dunhuang, from Li Sun to Tsai Guo-Chang, share the fundamental desire to create. And in order to create, artists have to engage in critical thinking. The creative process is, in fact, an exercise in critical thinking. All people are creative, but not all people possess the energy, ingenuity, and courage of conviction that are required to make art.
I hear that.
In order to produce a work of art, the artist must be able to respond to the unexpected, the chance occurrences, or